Hi, welcome for this week's Parashas Shavua, Ramdu, on the Parsha of Moshe David Valley. We're here at Kever David in the holy city of Yerushalayim with our good friend, the Ari Lewis Show.
That's right.
Say hi, Ari Lewis Show.
Hi, Ari Lewis Show.
All right, we're here with the Ramdu. It's a little bit of a different style than we're used to. He's going to give a pasuk by pasuk commentary, and I actually worked out pretty much every pasuk, but we're going to focus on a couple of core ideas, just kind of what I've settled on doing for whatever reason that is. The reason why it's a bit challenging, there's not a natural progression to what he's doing. He's giving a good shot, but it's kind of sporadic, which goes with the energy we're feeling kind of here, right?
Yeah. No doubt about it.
So I'm just going to start with a shot in the dark, and I'll probably weave my way into it. The Arizal's Kabbalah, when you go through the Etz Chaim, it's more about where you are than what you're learning. Right?
Where you are levels?
No, where he is in the text.
Okay.
Right? It'll say like, say you're working on Zeranpin, the Mochin Zeranpin Bechinas Nitzutz and Kalim. Right? Just kind of like it's progressions from the top to the bottom of the Etz Chaim, and the Rizal is telling you the Mochin of wherever he's at. So what he does is, if he's operating with the idea of Kalim, of Zeranpin, like a coordinate, like a Google search, right? You narrow it down.
Mm-hmm.
So he tells you what has to be there because it has to be there. For example, if we're talking about Zeranpin, I'm making this part up for context, right?
Yeah.
It's Zeranpin, and therefore it cannot be, this is not true, to make pretend it's true, it cannot be connected to Abba, it's only connected to Ima, right? Because Ima took the Gimel Rishon and Mazah of Sag, of Chacham of Ma. It's like a puzzle. It can only be what it is. You understand?
Okay.
So if it's a Madreg of Zeranpin that comes from the Achrayim of Sag, why is it Achrayim of Sag? Because Bina took the Achrayim of Av, and Abba took the Achrayim of Penimi of Sag. You're saying it works its way down.
Well, are you saying it's limited?
I'm saying it can only be, everyone takes their portion.
Right.
So in Kabbalah, everything takes its portion. It's a shtalshalis of bringing the shefa down.
Okay.
Right? So by the time we're at Zeranpin, there's a lot of stuff already happened. Right? So there's Parsufim, there's revelation of Zeranpin. It can only be certain things. Okay? So for example, if Zeranpin is connected to Leah,
right?
Why not Rachel? They'll say because the next level that comes out of Zeranpin, the lower part of Zeranpin is connected to Rachel.
So you're saying it has a certain way it's divided?
Yeah.
Okay.
And wherever it is in the Kabbalistic universe, the Kalim will fit that position.
Wouldn't that mean that it is limited if it's divided? Because if you're in like a box or a group, you can't go out of the box to the group.
I don't know if I'd use the word limited.
How about finite?
I'm going a little bit different.
Okay.
I'm saying that there's X amount of Kalim.
Okay.
Yeah? Every Madrega takes its Kali.
Okay.
Right?
They get their portion, like you're
saying. They get their portion. So once that portion's done,
yeah,
no one else takes it.
But they can only get a certain amount of Kali.
Right. So if I'm Abba,
yeah,
I'm just making the thing right. If I'm Abba, I took Av, the Achrayim of Keter. Now, then can Ima take that too?
No.
No.
Just for Abba.
She would take the
one for Ima.
The Achrayim of Sag of Keter.
Okay.
So now by the time it comes to Zeranpin, they're going to go with the Achrayim that they receives from Ima and Abba.
Okay.
See, it brings it down. And then there's certain worlds that open up. It's like, you know how a channel of water comes down and it fills up only where it can go?
Right.
And it keeps going? Right? If there's a dry riverbed, the water comes down, it fills the pool. When it's full, it just keeps going.
Right, it doesn't overflow.
It doesn't overflow.
Yeah, naturally.
Right? So that's how the shefa comes down. Okay. So it ends up being that if you know the Kalim and you know the details of Atzilus, as the Rizal's Kabbalah does, right? You can figure out, you can darshan who gets what and where goes where. It's like ping pong.
Okay.
Right? Because every time you do hishtalshalis, there's something missing now. Right? Keter took his, and then Abba took his, and every time it's just a progression. You read the progression. In the halacha you call it deya, Yoredeya. What is Yoredeya? Like in salt and meat, right?
Right.
You have a consistent thread of deya.
Okay.
So you have the halacha and then all the things, and the deya keeps going. Well, what do we do with salt? Okay, well, what does the Rambam Shita hold with his deya? Now, how do we wash the salt off? Well, the Rambam holds bigger pieces of salt, so he has to wash double. But the Ramah doesn't hold big pieces of salt. So you don't have to wash double. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
It fits like clockwork.
Okay.
Like, for example, this I'm making this up, right? But we're saying big salt means really washing it a lot well. So the Talmud said you have to wash salt really well. Oh, you mean like the Rambam with big salt? So what about the Ramah who says you don't have to wash well? There's another sheet in the Gemara that says you don't have to wash well. Oh, he holds small salt. Oh yeah, he does hold small salt. So you figure out the Shitas and the Deya, how it works together.
Okay.
So in Kabbalah, it's no different. It's Deya. If there's a Madrega of something, it reach that Madrega. Right? It worked its way down. From the Tzimtzum all the way down. It goes very simple. Keter, Chachma, Bina, Zerah, Bina, Nukva. It just works its way down.
Okay.
And as the Hishtalshalis goes, whatever we're talking about, whether it's Mochen, the Parsuf, the Sphira, the Keli, the Nitzutz, the Os, the Zayim Malachim of Edom, whatever we're talking about, there can only be certain Madregas. So every time you lower, someone got their Madrega, they're done. Right? Ima got the Achrayim of Abba on the level of Av. Right? So Zeranpin gets the Achrayim of Abba on the level of Sag, they receive the Achrayim of Ima. Right? Because Tvuna took the Achrayim of Ima, but not of Sag. It's complicated because there's so many details.
Right.
Just, so many. But if you knew all the details, but then the question is, how do you ever learn the details? You have to learn Kabbalah in context. How do you learn how to speak? You're around people who speak and you hear the different context.
Right.
Speaking is no different than Kabbalah. If I were to follow your speech, wouldn't it be just as complicated? First you called me, hey man, then you said, hey dude, then you said, hey bro. Which one is it? Is it dude, man, or bro?
Right.
So you speak this way. It's as shefa comes down through your speech. But if we analyze you, I could do the same thing. Oh, this is what Ari says, dude, when he's in the position of a light friendship. But when it's a deep friendship, it becomes, hey man, right? So, Kabbalah is the same analytical lens.
Interesting, okay.
Good analogy.
Good analogy.
Yeah. So in Mishkanei Elyon, which is the Sefer the Ramchal and the Bayis Shlishi, it's the same type of stuff. He knows the Mochen of Shem Hashem. Kel, Elokim, Yod-Kei Vav-Kei, right? And he knows through the Gematria, and he worked it out the way it is in the Zohar, that you can follow the base of Mikdash by its midot, its measure, which name of God functions. Right? So, for example, he'll say, if there's a measure of 20 Amma, or 20 whatever. I just did a shir by this other night. So he'll say it's like a Yud and a Yud, that you get it from Yud-Kei Vav-Kei Adnus, which is Gematria 91. Right? And that name begins Yud-Kei Vav-Kei with the Yud, ends with the Yud of Adnus, put together. Yud is Gematria 20, and that's the Madrega he's talking about 20. That's how he does it.
Okay.
So he brings the same progression down. Right? So if it's 40, if it's 60, if it's 120, based on the previous Madrega, he's bringing the Shefa down through a Hishtalshalis. Right?
Okay.
What I find here, the way the Ramdu is explaining the Pshat here, Shlomo Melech had one problem, right? That he said that he couldn't understand the Chachma of Paraduma. And everyone's like, wow, I wonder what it is. The problem is it's not true.
You mean he didn't understand it?
Well, no, I'm saying other people understand.
Oh,
how come Rav David Moshe David Vali understood? How come everyone in the world has an opinion? I know what it is.
Maybe they don't really know. So Shlomo Melech was the smartest, the wisest.
Hold on, let's answer it.
Okay.
Everyone seems to answer it.
Except Shlomo Melech.
Huh?
Except
Shlomo Melech.
He says I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I can answer it. You can answer it. It's not that hard.
I have my own theory.
You have your theory.
Okay.
So then, why didn't Shlomo have a theory? So here's the answer.
Okay.
He's not trying to give a svara of what it is. He's trying to tell you what does it look like as it comes down from Atzilus, the Kabbalah of it. Right? The Rizal's Kabbalah brings Shefa, it maps Shefa coming down.
Right.
Av, Sav, Man, Ling, and that, right? The Ramchal tells you the Baya Shlishi, what it looks like when it comes down. This is 2 times Kale with Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the 20, which, right? Paraduma, when you get Tahor from the Paraduma, you are entering into a Kabbalistic effect from Atzilus. That's the Torah. How's it work? Meaning there's a Kabbalah happening in Atzilus. You follow?
Okay, yeah.
What is it? That's what he's saying he doesn't know. What is happening in Atzilus to work? Is it the Av, Achrayim, of Av, of Sag, the Nakuda, the Keli? What does that look like? That's what he's saying. It's beyond comprehension. You see?
Okay.
There's a Kabbalah of the Paraduma when it comes down. That is beyond comprehension. What is God manipulating Atzilus to do? To bring Tahara on the highest level? You know, what is the DNA of that spiritual experience? Beyond.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. All right.
So then, what you have to kind of go back towards the Rizal's Kabbalah, the argument in the Kabbalah of Chassidus and the Litvish stuff is how to understand Simsum. So the Gra's take on Simsum is it's Pshuta. The Chiddush is they think that he's saying it means literally. Pshuta means literal. Doesn't. We're talking about the concept of Pshuta. Right? It's a concept of taking Kalim, but the point is he has one view of it, kind of that Arizal kind of view. Right? The Rizal's Torah is the Gra's take. You know, bringing the Shefa down, Av, Sag, that style. The opposing view in the Balatanya camp, the Baal Shem Tov camp, is the idea of it's Hester Panim. God is everywhere, and He's concealed, and there's just God, but I can't see it. It's concealed from me. So one is taking the technical limud. What is Simsum in the technical details of bringing the shtalshalos down to Kabbalah, right?
Right.
The other one is saying, look, I don't know the details. God, I simply can't see God. I know He's here, but I can't see Him. Something like that. So the idea was that Shlomo's looking for Paraduma in the Rizal type of shtalshalos, bringing it down. What is it, right? But the idea is, what Rav Moshe David Vali, kind of his style, is saying, the style, is maybe it's not only the Rizal Kabbalah. Maybe the idea is Atzilus is just doing something, right? It doesn't have to be, well, how do you map it? It's the other side of Simsum. It's almost like there's 2 schools of Kabbalah, and they're both kosher. They're not fighting. One is mapping it, the other one is ruchnius, right? You know, God emanating something in the world. It's us and God, right? So there's a way to view it from Chachma and a way to view it from the ruchnius, the spirituality of Chachma. So Paraduma really is about those 2 schools, right? How does it work in Kabbalah and really, it's about stepping into a spiritual chamber, and this is where the Ramdu explains very nicely. The Tahara of the Paraduma it's from the Gematria Para is 285, but it's based on the Pei and the Reish, 280.
Okay.
There's 280 Kaychis of Dinim. Really harsh, like not harsh like bad Din, but Kayach of Dinim, which reminds me of the waters of Mara. The waters of Mara, Bnei Yisrael were Bnei Noach. They weren't Bnei Yisrael yet. Not till Har Sinai. So what was given at Mara? 7 laws of Noah, officially to Klal Yisrael, along with 3 extra mitzvahs. Paraduma, Shabbos, and Dinim. Right, so when we see the shechting of the Paraduma, right, Elazar Kohen was stood aside. He was a bechinas of Chesed, and the Paraduma was bechinas Dinim. So Shabbos is Kaychis of Chesed also.
Right.
So you have the Chesed, Shabbos, the Dinim given in Paraduma. So therefore there was a Kabbalah given at the waters of Mara. Because does the paraduma have to be the physical entity? Yes and no. There is a paraduma, yes. But at the same time, there is a spiritual component in Atzilus. Klal Yisrael is given kochus of Tahara. Right? They're going to be a holy nation. Last week with Kairach, we saw them become a holy people. And now that they're holy, Klippa, Sitra Achra, and Tuma wants to come inside. So the paraduma is given to Matahir the camp. God forbid they should become Tameh. Now there's an Indian of Tahara. The Tahara, the whole experience, Kedusha Tahara, right? Klal Yisrael gets the chinuch at the waters of Mara before they go into Sinai. Again, they're commanded in Dinim, Paraduma, and Shabbos. So
it's a preparation.
Preparation.
Okay.
Right, and we know that there's an Indian of Kabbalah to the Paraduma, right? And the Ger Toshav becomes a Ger Toshav al pi Kabbalah. I don't mean spiritual Kabbalah. I mean receiving on himself, right? Through that episode, as they became indoctrinated in the 7 laws, so all in the future do. And there's a natural kind of kesher between like the 7 laws, 7 spheres, like the 3 mitzvahs, the Gimel Rishonim, the top 3. There's a natural Kabbalistic angle to Zayim mitzvahs b'nei Noach, right? So if there's the waters of Mara, there's going to be the chinuch and nigla, the revealed aspect, the mitzvahs. There's a natural Kabbalistic side as well. And we see the inverse at the Chet Egel. At the Chet Egel, what are they trying to do? Here's your God, O Israel. They're trying to say, we know the Kabbalah. We can bring Atzilus down, mamish, and matahir everything. Wrong. You cannot. It's a Kabbalah beyond you. You cannot just make that Kabbalah happen. So Shlomo's saying. Yet, it is a tangible Kabbalah. There's a state of Atzilus that purifies. Am Yisrael inherited that entity. But it's not going to be in the form of a limud. It's kind of the idea God is everywhere, but He's concealed from us. So we have the mitzvahs, and he has an amazing way of explaining what the paraduma was.
Now, when you say the way He explains it, so Shlomo Melech understands this way of explaining it.
Shlomo Melech is trying to say there's got to be an Arizal way about it, but I think that's what he seems to be implying. It's beyond us.
Okay.
There's the spirituality of it we can get. We can all understand the spirituality of it, the klalim of it, right? We can find examples. You read the L'tzorech Aliyah. Isn't that a contradiction? You go down and go up. You become impure, become pure. We know that concept. That's not a chiddush.
Right.
But can you explain the DNA and vasilos of it? No, that's something that's Zman Moshiach. Right, but the thing itself. I'll give you an example. I am a master parent. I have raised 2 kids. Do you think I know what I'm doing?
I hope so.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
You know how kids get to school? You dress them, you feed them, and they go. You know, and they come home at 4 o'clock, and you didn't do anything. Right? The wisdom of this world is a powerful tool. You know how a bris milah works?
Well, technically, yeah.
The guy's got a knife.
Yeah.
But the knife does 90% of the work. Okay. It's a natural tool. All he's got to do is, don't mess up.
Yeah, no pressure.
But the tool does the work.
Not the guy, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
You say not the
It doesn't take a master like heart surgery. The tool is an amazing tool. It removes the skin, it clamps, you click, done.
Right.
Right? So tools are very powerful. Right?
Right, okay.
Wisdom is powerful. Raising kids grow. I didn't teach my kids how to speak. You think I taught them every word they know? I don't even know Hebrew like they do. But they just go. Right? So, the reason why I say that, I forget how I came on that point.
Well, you were talking about the possible explanation. That, point of view.
No, so the Jewish people have paraduma. You don't have to know how it works for it to work.
Ah, okay. Like electricity. We don't know how electricity works.
You just flip a switch.
Right.
But you have it.
We have it.
Or better yet, the Jews were given the calendar You know, the joke is that NASA will catch up one day. I am smarter than NASA simply because I configure the Jewish calendar. Right? That's an old joke in yeshiva, right?
Right.
We know more than the layman in yeshiva knows more than NASA.
Right. 10 years, we know what day Yom Kippur is going to be.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have a powerful chachma given, but do I really know? Not like the latitude, the longitude, the trajectory of Halley's Comet. I don't know.
Right.
But I do. Right? So we're given a mitzvah, a very powerful mitzvah called paraduma. And we can perform it. Right now, if God produced a paraduma
that was clean, no problems,
we can mamish do it.
But we don't know how it works. Is that what you're saying?
We don't know the panemius of really what is happening in Atzilus. But we can darshan it, we can ding, and then we can do a lot of things, right? So you don't have to own it to own it.
Like gravity, right? We know gravity exists.
Right, and you can use gravity.
You use gravity.
You can project to a Pluto.
Right.
But you don't really know what's going on.
We pour a glass of water, we know it goes down.
Right.
It never goes up.
That's right.
Okay.
You use science and wisdom, but you don't necessarily know what it is.
Okay. I like the analogy.
Yeah. Okay. So paraduma is given to us. Mitzvahs are given to us. The tzitzis are given to us. You don't even know what tzitzis is. You know, I tied my first tzitzis on these tzitzis. It's an amazing thing. You know how it works? Because cords tangle. There's a natural principle that cords tangle. So we tie our own tzitzis, they just go, they just do it. You think you have to take, like, real careful fingers, and how do you don't have to. Just go.
Right.
You rely on the Bria and the wisdom of the Bria. We were given paraduma. The way it happens, and he explains it again. He's explaining it. I call it that Baal Shem Tov type of Kabbalah. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Meaning go Kabbalah with it, but don't necessarily think a Rizal Kabbalah. Right? Again, it makes a nice understanding. When Shlomo says he can't understand it, he's saying, I don't understand gravity.
Right.
But I know how to get to Pluto.
Right.
The way it works, because the 280 dinim, right?
Well, just real quick, why would Shlomo Melech say that on this mitzvah and not other mitzvahs?
Because this is the one that is the ultimate level of Atzilus. The Kabbalah there is so vast. But I'm about to tell you why.
Okay.
What makes paraduma happen? 2 hairs can be white or not red, right?
But not more than 2.
Yeah. It's a manpower mitzvah. How does it get to where Hashem gives us in this world a paraduma? What it is the result of manpower, of maisim tovim. When mankind does maisim tovim, now God is a true judge. You are judged. Now, let's say God wants to make a paraduma right now, right?
Right.
And 10 seconds ago you said, I love you, God. Now you're a nasty guy most of the time, God forbid. But that 1 second you're like, I just love you, God. God said, okay, Ari's in, cool, got him. Good, maisim tovim, you did it. So when God wants to emanate it, all of mankind works together in maisim tovim to work at that. The paraduma is like the drop of the mochin that comes down of shefa from collective maisim tovim. Dinim. It's not from exploitation, in other words. It's when total cooperation in spirituality. So it's a product of real holiness, collective holiness brought that emanated whatever the you know how you put sand in an oyster? Is it a clam or an oyster? Oyster? Make a pearl.
I'm not sure actually. Okay.
You put the sand in there, it makes a pearl, right?
Right.
When mankind is working and God puts the paraduma sand in, so to speak, the will of God,
right,
we will produce a paraduma. What it took for the farmer, the grass, basically to produce, right, the product called the paraduma, whatever it goes into it. The creation is missing something that we don't create. We don't get paraduma. It goes puzzle. God inserts the will in the creation, almost like bees, like making the queen bee.
Right.
And we work towards it and we create it. It's puzzle from wicked behavior. So when we produce a red heifer, we can puzzle it by our wicked behavior. So if we are against the paraduma, it'll get more hairs or become lame or whatever it is. So it's a total universal effort, paraduma. It's collective universal manpower in holiness. That's the dinim, the koyach of the dinim. So it's not exploitation, it's holy, purely holy.
Okay.
The Kohen, when he's preparing it, he speaks about there's dung burned with the paraduma.
Right.
So there's impure aspects built in. The Kohen becomes tamei working with the paraduma. He receives the shefa from the tuma of the dung of the paraduma. The idea is, again, two schools of Kabbalah. There's like the one Kabbalah that produces it, but another perspective, this Kohen is working with the thing itself. He's not that good of a person on the level that needs to be. I mean, he's not grasping paraduma, right?
Okay. You say that's related to his morality?
Just mankind, when he eats Torah. So because he's not perfect, he is killing the paraduma. He is ruining it. He's puzzling it. Because he's directly handling it.
But let's say every one of mankind was doing what they were supposed to do, then the paraduma would come, right?
That's from God's siyata d'shmaya.
Okay.
Here the Kohen is actually on it. That farmer didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know he was being directed by God.
Okay.
See, so the Kohen ruins the thing, but not mamish. Because remember, you have two hairs. So you know how to, I'll give you a good mashal. You have a great bookshelf in your house, right?
Right.
What happens when you move?
You gotta take the bookshelf apart.
Then?
And hopefully you put it back together.
But
it's hard, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
How many moves do you have before it's gone?
I guess 5?
Let's call it 2 for the paraduma.
Okay.
Everyone now that's ready, you're moving it. It's gonna decay. It's gonna become corrupt.
Okay.
It's built in. You have 2 hairs. You have 2 hairs worth of corruption, the leeway. Mankind is not perfect by definition.
Right. So God gives us some leeway, but
God gives you leeway, but because you did pervert it, you're gonna become tamei. You corrupted a holy thing. It's holy.
Could it be possible to have no hairs? You're saying it has to have 2.
No, it doesn't have to have 2.
Okay.
Maybe we're so crafty that the hairs never manifested.
Okay.
My point is, you're going to kill the process some level. Just like moving. Right? This book was brand new once, right?
Right.
Now is it brand new?
No.
You touch one page.
It's not the same.
Not the same. You went to buy a refrigerator from the store. There was one nick. Can you sell it brand new now?
No.
No. Now you got 2,000 shekels off. Same thing here.
Car goes off the lot.
Car goes off the lot, just 1,000 shekels. Whatever it is, right? So that's what this is. This is why it's an amazing start, right? Just by being involved, you're ruining it. You're putting your sitra achra into that. Because otherwise, why did you ruin it?
Why? I guess you didn't know better. I don't know. Why?
Because you have sitra achra and klippa in you, and you ruined it. You thought you knew better. I mean, you're not perfect, but it's okay.
But the question is, if 2 hairs could be impure, I mean, how many hairs on a paraduma? It's thousands, right?
But it takes a lot to ruin a hair. That's the chiddush.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? There's room for it's not a perfect thing. There's 2 hairs worth.
Right.
So you better make them count.
But it's a lot to, okay.
It takes a lot.
It takes a lot.
But you're gonna the Kohen's gonna ruin it some level. Wear and tear.
Huh.
So he becomes impure, but in that process, he's still under God's hashgacha of preparing the paraduma with maisim taivim. So on one hand, it's maisim taivim. On the other hand, it's not. He's doing an avera, not avera. I'm saying, we say that the mizbeach does an avera by existing, just by existing.
Right.
Right. In Simsum, just by the fact that you think you exist, you sin. Ego.
Right.
It's only God. If you say you exist, are you saying there's another God? So there's a leeway. The sitra achra is allowed to exist. Right. You're allowed to exist. So the paraduma, you see, it's a nice way of looking at the paraduma.
Right. Okay.
Another aspect, that one of the things in the verses of paraduma is the ger is mentioned in the chiyuv. Everyone wants to say, is it a convert ger? No. A convert is called a Jew, and that is obvious. The ger here is a non-Jew. The Vilna Gaon says it explicitly. And so does the Sifri. What does the Vilna Gaon say? A Nachri is not even Tameh. Right? The Pope does not get Tameh Mace. So you touch the dead Pope, it's not Tameh Mace. Even though it's a Machlekes, whatever it is, it's not the same as a Jew. Right? Aviyavas Tumah. So the Nachri it's a miyut on the Nachri. It says ger, not Nachri. Therefore we say that the Chiddush is even the ger, non-Jew, has Tumah. Is Rui for Tumah. K'makabel Tumah. It's because he's in Malchus. The Paraduma is Malchus. It's an aspect of Malchus. Right? Malchus is the 7th level. And we say in the Zohar that Paraduma is all 7s. Like 7 days, I forget, it's all levels of 7. If you look inside the Psukim, it's all these 7s.
Right.
I think it's also called Bat Sheva. There's a nickname for it.
Right.
Bat Sheva.
Daughter of 7.
Yeah. So the ger is naturally in Malchus. And since we're weighing in dinim, that the kochos of removing the tumah is the dinim. Dinim is the 7th Noahide law. Dinim is what connects them to Israel, right? So the paraduma is occupying, again, back to Mara, the concept of dinim. That's the thing that removes the tumah. Again, how? Here's the chiddush. Don't look at paraduma like that Arizal Kabbalah. Right? Don't get into the pill pool of how it works. It's a Baal Shem Tov type of Kabbalah. Meaning you're stepping into a zone. A zone. Imagine when you go to the base of Mikdash, there's a zone. Right? Giloi Shechina is going to be everywhere. Right?
Right.
You're not going to it's not going to be stam like walking into your house or a bar. Right? You're going to... I hate to say it this way, but like, sexuality is a zone, is it not?
Yeah.
So the base of Mikdash is just a different zone. What do you call that with drugs? It's what do you call it? Altered states of consciousness.
Oh, okay.
Right, so it's an altered state of consciousness. Because of the paraduma was made from these dinim, universal and global, right?
All right, I'm just thinking about altered stages. Okay.
Yeah. It's mashu. It's something. It's not stam. It's mashu. Right.
Okay.
So when you realize that you're tameh and you go to become tahor, you are entering a fraternity of tahara. You're entering the covenant, the bris, because you're stepping into something. It's mashu. Remember, but we're saying the paraduma was created. Mankind was working to get a drop of the mochin that would make the parad, right? That it's a kedusha. It's a tangible kedusha, like a mikveh. You're entering into it. That's the tahara. That's the Kabbalah that came down from Atzilus. Something's going on. Right? When Moshe was at the burning bush, he entered into something, did he not? Remove your shoes, this is holy ground.
Right, you walked in a place.
Right. When you go to get tahor, the paraduma, you are walking into that bubble of kedusha. Remember last week we said by Karat the kedusha came down?
Right.
Well, here there's kedusha again, but you're tameh, so you're not a part of it. You want to become kadosh again. So there's a tangible kedusha that came down and you can get into. This is what I'm saying. You can also do it without the paraduma. Now, we need the mitzvah generally, but there's a concept. The Moshiach brings the 10th paraduma. Theoretically, even without the cow itself, there's a state of existence called the Tahara of Kedusha of the Tzilus Paraduma Kabbalah. Right? Now, you do it, you bring it down with the mitzvah itself. But theoretically, it exists outside of the thing itself also.
So if you didn't do the mitzvah, it would still exist?
What's that?
If you didn't do the mitzvah, it would still exist.
In the same way that, is there Shechina outside the base of Mikdash? Yeah.
Yes, but not the same.
But do I know where it is? No. If I did, can I go there? Yeah. Would I have to be the base of Mikdash? No.
But it's better.
God is in the world.
Right, but he's more direct at the base.
Because God chose that thing.
Right.
But I'm saying the Shekhinah exists just as a bria. It's a concept. Malchus of Atzilus. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
God said, I'm not going to do it outside the Beis Hamikdash. But it exists on high as a thing.
Right, okay.
Right, so the Paraduma exists. So when you go to get Paraduma, you're stepping into that thing. It's not just the mitzvah, the keli of a mitzvah. You understand what I'm telling you?
Right, okay.
For example, with husband and wife, is it just a physical act?
Spiritual too.
It's also spiritual. So it's existing on high. Not just down low.
Okay, but doesn't the physical act create the spiritual act?
It's part of it.
Okay.
That the union of Yesod Malchus is also in Atzilus. But it's not physical up there. Purely spiritual.
But what causes what? Does the spiritual act cause the physical? Or physical cause the spiritual?
Spirituality and physicality have their counterparts.
Okay.
But you can have Yesod, a world of Atzilus with Yesod Malchus not dependent on this world.
Right.
In this world, Pru Revu is that. But you can enjoy the Yichud of Atzilus not through Pru Revu. Dveikus with God.
Okay.
You understand?
All right, okay.
There's spiritual levels that go with the physical mitzvah, and are just spiritual levels. So here what I'm saying is the Paraduma, don't forget the spiritual level. We know the spiritual level exists. That's already a chiddush. That there is a spiritual level.
Right.
Now I'm not saying you can go out and be the level of the... We're saying Shlomo didn't know what it was. But when we do the mitzvah, Kol Shekin, you're bringing that spiritual level down. So you're walking into Kedusha. And the closer you get the water, right? You're partaking in that worldwide effort to make that Paraduma. That's the koyach of the dinim.
Right, okay.
We prepared it. So now, because it's so holy in the dinim, just like the Torah of dinim, the Sitra Achra flees from it, right? When you enter into it, the Sitra Achra flees.
Why would it flee?
The koyach of the dinim. Because in Kabbalah, how do you remove dinim? How do you remove Sitra Achra?
Put Kedusha.
From dinim.
Okay.
Mitzvahs, Torah, right?
Right.
The Malchus has dinim. Malchus needs to be sweetened with the dinim. That's how you keep the klippas back. So it's a Kabbalistic experience. That's my whole point, is the Paraduma. Right? All the way down to the water itself.
Okay. All right.
Is part of the koyach of the dinim. 50 minutes. So now, that's the first part of the shir. Second part really is where Moshe Rabbeinu is going to hit the rock and he's going to be exiled out of the land of Israel.
Right.
Before I say that, what do we accomplish in the first part of the shir? Right?
That so you can understand you could do something about understanding it.
Yeah, Paraduma is understandable and know where it's not understandable, right? But don't think that means locked door, you can't understand anything.
Right, so that's not what Shlomo Melech meant when he said I don't understand it.
He's saying there, of course you can understand like what I call the Baal Shem Tov Kabbalah of it, right? Simsim, very simple. Guy's not here. There's Simsim. I did it. But the Arizal Simsim is very complicated, like the Gra, the Pshuto, right? So there's the Arizal Kabbalah type of Paraduma, which is impossible, because we're saying it's the Ishtalshalos. It's the Ishtalshalos of mankind. It's the Shkacha practice only God knows. Because the whole point is you don't know what God did to bring it.
Right.
You don't know what the farmer needed to do to produce the red heifer, right? You don't know. God brought it. That farmer had a kavana, I should honor my father. That was the schus that he should have. You don't know that.
Right. Yeah,
so therefore the Hishtalshalos, you can't know. But the base of Mikdash you can know, the Ramchal says. Atzilus you can know. There's very high levels of prophetic Kabbalah mankind can know. We have it. Mishneh Elyon and Etz Chaim are two works of that. Just by knowing the Kalim and mapping the Ishtalshalos. Baal Shem Tov Kabbalah, anyone can know it. That's the Chiddush of Chassidus. It's not asking the DNA. How do you explain Simsim? Guy's on here. There, I did it. But so Paraduma, no one understands it. Yes, I do. Baal Shem Tov style. But the Rizal style, impossible. You don't know the Shachar Pratis on that level. Never know. So then he's saying, since we can know what it is, I'll tell you what it is. Right? It's the koyach of the dinim and the mankind worldwide. Chet Egel, they're tempted, right? So he brings in a nice Kabbalistic take on it of what we can know about it. All right, now, the second part is Moshe's going to hit the rock. God wants to sanctify the eyes of Israel so they understand the Panemius of Torah here. How so? Again, he's going to say that the rock, the Selah, is like Malchus. Speak to the rock. Because when you speak to the rock, it's like you're speaking to Malchus. Again, you're bringing the Shefa down. You're not going to speak to the rock to bring out water and know what you're doing. Because again, it's beyond you. You don't know Kabbalah that way. You don't know how God does it. Right? It's too much Hashgacha Pratis. What God is saying, speak to the rock, and it will bring the Moch and the godless down. And now mankind will work, and just the Bria, the world, will bring water, and the Bnei Yisrael will realize, we are agents of God, and when we are Davik to God, mankind works with Mazel, right? And the Bria brought the water. So it's a Chiddush. And it's a total Chiddush to the eyes. Again, Baal Shem Tov type Kabbalah. You see the spirituality, the guy stops, hey, I heard you guys need water. Wow, that's a miracle. How'd you know? We were ready to starve. How'd you know? So it's looking at Kabbalah from that perspective. As opposed to, talk to the rock, and I'm supposed to bring water from a rock, from a tzilas. How do you bring it beyond you? You can't do that. God brings the Shefa. You're supposed to do it in the Baal Shem Tov type way. Just do the Ruchnius. God will bring the Shefa down in godless, and Moch and godless, and the people will see you can get the wisdom of the calendar and not know what gravity is. That's what he's trying to show them. You're given the Torah, you're given Chachma. You don't need to know the Panemius on that level. Just do it.
Right.
You don't have to know how Shalom Bias works with a woman. You don't have to know. Just do what the Torah tells you. Do the mitzvahs, do what you have to do. It'll work. So what does he do? He hits the rock twice. There's always a little bit of moisture in everything. So he hits the rock, and then the miracle is he brings the riboy of Shefa out of the moisture in the rock, and it's multiplied. They saw a physical miracle, as opposed to the lesser miracle, which is a greater Kiddush Hashem, by seeing God working in the world.
Why is that a lesser miracle?
Which one?
God working in the world?
Because it's like, if you're read Tehillim,
sure.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
How many times did David Melech ever get a miracle?
Never.
Never. It's a huge Kiddush Hashem. B'tachon and God works with man. Right? It's by the Teva of Noach, it's the same thing. Right? Is it better to have a miracle outright, or God working hidden in creation? It's a bigger Kiddush Hashem, the hidden way. So it's a bigger miracle in Teva when it's open, but it's lesser what God wants. God wants you to do His will, do the Torah, and God comes through the middle path. It's not supposed to be bells and whistles.
Right.
Work with God. So Moshe was supposed to work with God, and everyone would see, you work with God, and God affects mankind, and it works. What happened? He didn't do it, and he strikes the rock, the water multiplies, the moisture in the heat, right? Collective moisture makes a miracle. So it was fine, but it wasn't the miracle God wanted, like we're talking about Paraduma, right? See, now when you have a miracle, you don't even care about this Kabbalah or that Kabbalah. You never saw Kabbalah at all. You saw God do a miracle. There's no Kabbalah of God's miracle. You see what I'm saying? If I saw a book flying across the room and I say, "Wow, God, how did you do that?" It's not your business. God just did it. So there's no Kiddush there for God just to do it. You want to work with God in creation. So you can't know the DNA of how God does it. Meaning, If you think the Kabbalah of Moshe bringing the water down, that's like saying you understand the miracle, and you don't. But if you go Baal Shem Tov style Kabbalah, you just say water comes down. I mean, you work on it macro. You know, we're giving the cow to work on it in the macro realm.
Right.
So what we find is that Paraduma Kabbalah, Moshe had he sanctified, is the Mochin, the godless, of the secret of Moshiach. If Moshe would have done it right, that's Moshiach.
Moshiach would have come?
That's the Darga of Moshiach. The Paraduma Kabbalah is Moshiach. Meaning, you don't have to know how Moshiach saves the world. There just is a koyach of Atzilus working called Moshiach. 2,000 years Tohu, 2,000 years Torah, 2,000 years Moshiach. Right? Tohu, Tikkun, Gula. So there's a level of Kabbalah beyond the Rizal Kabbalah. Right? Tohu, Tikkun, Gula.
Right.
Where it's all Gula. It's all Moshiach. It's all Moshiach Gula stuff. That level, people think they can figure out Moshiach like that a Rizal Kabbalah. Don't go there. It's the Baal Shem Tov Kabbalah. I'm not saying the Baal Shem Tov is Kabbalah, right? What I'm saying is don't map it. It doesn't need to be mappable.
Okay.
So there's the idea of just understanding Kabbalah happens. Divine providence happens. Mazel happens. Mashiach is something in the Bria, in the air that happens. The becoming pure experience of the Paraduma through the mitzvah Paraduma happens. Bris Milah happens. Right? Impregnating the moon happens. We have the mitzvahs. We have to understand how to work with God on that level. The Rizal Kabbalah aspect is not puzzle, right? It has its function of understanding. But the contrast is certain things are not meant for that analysis of DNA. Right? But the concept of the Rizal Kabbalah matters. That's how you know there's such toshless. So one, it understands that it comes down. The other one is, I don't know, here's another one. When you eat, how does the food enter your body and work? Do you have to tell the orange, hey, vitamin C, do this, and the guy do this, and go and do that? You don't do it.
Right.
Just eat it. But you know that there's vitamin C and it's doing something. So there's one kind of Kabbalah where you know it's doing it, right? The other one is you have faith. It's called an orange. Eating an orange.
Trust it'll work.
You trust it works. So you're given both, but certain mitzvahs have this koyach. It's like the left side, the koyach of dinim. And I think we're just about there. So we'll close. I think we're right on time, right? 5 minutes away. So the point was Ramdu with Parashas Koyach, Chukas, right? And Kever David with our Elul show. And the bottom line is we're given a tremendous Torah, tremendous mitzvahs, tremendous Kedusha. From last week, from Kairach, the Kedusha came down. It's one thing to not recognize Kedusha. The other one is to say, I'm so holy, I have a right to know what holiness is. Not necessarily. Sometimes you don't have, it's like mazel. It's the whole world pinning you down. It's beyond you. Sometimes you just have to work with God. There's the Tzimtzum, there's God, He created me, there's I don't see God, and my job is to be Davik and Dvekus with God. You don't always have to map A to B. Sometimes you can just receive from God and work with God. So when Moshe was before the rock, it was to connect on that level rather than trying to say, how am I going to bring down the water? It doesn't work that way. The Moil doesn't ask how he's going to do the circumcision. The calendar guy doesn't ask, oh gee, what is Pluto doing? Just do it. Follow the Chacham. And that's it this week. God willing, we'll be back with the Art of the Show next Parsha.